So glad you're with us on Retire Well. Brad Johansson with Kevin Bucher, Citizen Advisory Group. Co-founder Kevin with his brother Jeff. Well, why do I say that? Welcome. Nice to be with you.
Yes, sir.
But you're not allowed to talk just yet because it's here. They've put it together. Kevin and Jeff have gotten their book done, Built to Last. From Confusion to Confidence, the Retire Well Guide to a Connected Retirement. Guess what? You have an option to get this for free. All you have to do is scan the QR code below and we'll get one out to you. We'll give you the phone number that you can reach out as well. Congratulations. This has been a major undertaking.
Yeah, it always is, but it's also a fun process to sit down and reflect and put your thoughts on paper. But it is a lot of work.
Well, people have been clamoring, right? I mean, you'll run into people, and thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, because a lot of you have come up to Kev, to Jeff, and said, hey, when are you going to do this? Or when are you going to do that? Or I'm going to come in. Give me an idea of what you think this will help people. Look, we need a push sometimes, and maybe this might be the push.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, there was several motivating factors for why we wrote the book. But the underlying theme to it all is that we like to help people. And we've always been very intentional about that. So I think our intent was certainly not to be in the book business and sell a lot of books, but it's to help people to make financial decisions, but to make informed financial decisions. And to your point, it's a very regular conversation that I have out in public where people will approach me and comment about, I've seen this show, I really enjoy this show. We really want to come in and meet, but we're waiting for this to happen or that to happen. And I would just tell you today, stop waiting.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than getting started in the process. And what we have found over the years is I think people think there's going to be some radical new decisions or new thoughts or something, but it really is more a series of small decisions, small little tweaks and adjustments. And those small tweaks and adjustments over time are what make a big, big difference to your financial security.
I've seen some notes on you talking about putting this together. We've seen a broken financial world, the investment-only illusion that we need to play with, and filling an education gap on a mission to continue to educate people in a better way.
Yeah, so I'll take you back a little bit to the beginning. And, when we started Citizen Advisory Group, it's been 20 years ago now. And in some ways it feels like it was a lifetime ago, but in some ways it feels like it was just yesterday. Yeah. And when we started the company, we didn't have an office where we now have a 10,000 square foot office. We didn't have a big staff where we now have, 16, 17 people that call Citizen Advisory Group home. And we met people out in their homes primarily. And we learned so much during those early years, sitting across the kitchen table from people. And that was really one of the themes of the book. We really felt like the questions that people had, the help that people were looking for, were not really being taken care of by the financial services world at that time. And I do think there's been some good progress in that, but that certainly was the underlying theme on how we built and shaped Citizen Advisory Group, because we listened to what was keeping people up at night, and we built our company to try to address those areas, and that's what the book is about. It's just another way to get this information in people's hands so that they can learn, become informed, and then make better decisions for themselves when it comes to their finances.
Okay, so you say that a bunch of people are disconnected with the financial industry the way right now. Our greatest fear, predominantly for people who are approaching retirement, is that we're going to run out of money. I'm guessing, and a lot of people are saying, I'm just going to do it myself. Did you write the book for do-it-yourselfers or people who are wondering if I'm going to be okay?
Absolutely. And I would say chapter 2 addresses that big risk right there. Chapter 2 is about building a sound retirement income strategy. So if those are questions you have or fears you have that you're going to run out, well, then chapter 2 is for you. So, take advantage of getting this in your hands, reading through it. There's stories, there's some things that are more textbook related, but there's also stories that are very relatable. And chapter 2 is written for that one big issue in mind of the fear of running out of money. So how do we turn our investments into income?
I can't stress this enough because this is out and the labor is there. Here's the best part about it. It is free for you. You scan the QR code, you give a call and you say, I want a copy of the book. And Kevin has said this. I get met by people all the time out in public who say, I'm going to come in. You are some of those people who've been watching and say, yeah, at some point I'm going to call. This is your chance now to say, I'd like this for free. This will help motivate me and will bring me in. Do this now. This is a labor for people in your community. How do I help the community? But this is, man, you have a long history of what you're doing in the community. Give me an idea of what Citizen Advisory Group has been doing.
So, I think over the years, well, number one, we have this show. And I think we are on episode 68 or something like that of the TV show. And if you're tuning in for just the first time and you would like to see some of the past shows, well, check out our YouTube channel. All the shows are housed there. And maybe you don't have time to watch the full 30-minute segment. There's also the option just to check out some clips on certain topics. So check out our YouTube show. There's a lot of good information around these different topics. We also, for a long time, have educated the community through dinner workshop presentations. We still do those on a very regular basis. It gives people an opportunity to come out anonymously, sit in the crowd amongst their peers, listen, learn, and get to kind of check us out and see if we maybe are the right fit. So you can check out our full schedule of those events on our website, citizenadvisory.com. We have all our events posted there. We also do presentations specific to the Medicare topic. So a lot of confusion as people are aging into Medicare.
No question.
So we do educational events about Medicare. And then we have our Retire Well program that goes beyond just the TV show, where we educate clients and our community around different topics. One we've done recently as an example, we brought in someone from the Attorney General's office to talk about fraud and what you can do to protect yourself. So, we just do a lot to try to get information out to help people make good decisions.
The idea is that this is going to be different. I said that at the beginning, that there is a lot of distrust even within the financial community of people who are doing it the same way. Maybe some of the big box firms who mean well, but because they're large at this point, they can't individualize programs for a lot of people. I think that's the crux, or at least the beginning of why you guys are different.
Yeah, and I kind of look at that like when you're working with the big box brand names, and this is not to knock them. They certainly have their place, and there's a lot of really good advisors in that space. But they, for the most part, work for the company that they represent.
Yeah.
And as an independent, we don't work for or have proprietary products to sell. We work for the people that we sit across the table from with a fiduciary standard of care to work in their best interest. So we work for the people, not for the company. And that is how I would describe the difference between an independent advisor and what we've tried to build through Citizen Advisory Group and some of the alternatives that exist in the marketplace.
And it's all here as to why we're different. Built to last. The book is out. It's now yours for free. You can scan the QR code. You can make a call. 866-630-1675. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. As soon as I know this, I'll do that. We can't stress, and we do all the time on this program, how important it is to take the time that you have right now. It's your greatest asset to get a plan together. And the plan is complimentary. The copy of the book is complimentary. Let's put together a plan for you so that you can retire well. This may be your moment. You've turned on the program at the right time. Let's get the book in your hand and let's get you into the office to put together a complimentary retire well plan just for you. We'll be right back.
As a youth, I spent my summer months on the construction sites with my family. I think I learned early on the value of hard work. Ultimately, though, I was led into the financial services world where I joined my brother Jeff.
We were like many other financial advisors where, it was mainly transactional, but we felt there was just more. And I started to notice that the very, very wealthy families around the country had financial advisors that provided service to them that was really unparalleled. And it was always puzzling to us, well, why can't everyday hardworking people have that same opportunity?
I think we pride ourselves on the comprehensive services that we offer, which starts with the holistic financial planning. Our logo initially was a mountain-based theme, which was meant to kind of highlight the accumulation years where you're building and saving your resources for retirement, and then the backside of the mountain where you're working your way down in the distribution or income years.
I think many people think that the financial piece is just so prevalent and the most important component, but there's just more to it than that. It's about the experiences, it's about the relationships, it's about the life that our clients are living. As we looked in the future, we said, you know what, we need a logo that tells that story. It's our family coming together with your family. It's your financial pieces coming together to have a coordinated plan. It's our community coming together to keep that social connection. All of that coming together as one, and I think this logo beautifully illustrates we build all of this together to get the most out of your retirement so that you can have the retirement that you've always dreamt of.
Glad you're with us on Retire Well. Brad Johansson, Kevin Bucher, co-founder Citizen Advisory Group and co-author with Jeff Bucher on Built to Last. This is your time. This is the book, and they're giving it away for free. So if you want to scan the QR code, they'll send it out to you for free. If you want to make a phone call, you can call and we'll send it out for free. I want to go into a little bit of this, and I want to get to questions that are so often asked. Before we do that, you kind of set this up with pillars. So we've got 5 pillars that we can read through in this book. Take me through the 5 pillars.
So, for the viewers of the show, this won't be totally shocking because we talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
The 5 pillars of financial planning. So it starts with your investment management. We do have a chapter about investment management, but it also talks about the problem with the investment-only approach. And I feel like that's too often what we see, where people think that the investments drive the ship, and that's not really true. So first pillar, investment management, don't want to minimize its importance because it's certainly a very important pillar. Second pillar, retirement planning. And maybe this is the star of the show because it's a lifelong journey. So, I think sometimes we hear from people that, oh, I'm not ready to retire yet, so it's too soon to maybe come in and meet. But retirement planning is a lifelong journey. So from the moment you picked up that first paycheck and you started to pay FICA taxes and you started to put money into your 401k, you started your retirement planning. So there's 2 phases to that. It's your savings years, and then that's your retirement years where you become a spender. Third area is tax planning. It's not about how much money you make in the stock market. It's about how much of that money you get to keep. So having a sound tax strategy is very vitally important to your plan. Fourth area is risk management. We got to protect it. We got to have health insurance, long-term care insurance, life insurance. What makes sense for you and your individual situation? And then the 5th and final pillar is your estate planning. And too often people think that estate planning is all about what happens when you're no longer here, but it's just as much about making those end-of-life decisions to help your family through what would be a very difficult time.
Love it. Are you okay if I do some questions? I mean, these are standard, and some of them I've written down and paraphrased. I'm 64 years old, planning to retire next year. Everyone tells me I need to focus on my investments. But I'm more worried about where my income is going to come from. Am I thinking about this wrong?
No, I would say you're thinking about it 100% right, and I wish more people had that mentality. But I think we've kind of been marketed to by those typical big box brand name firms that retirement planning is all about accumulation of some mythical number. And you probably remember those commercials. That was, what's your number?
Exactly.
And it's not so. And I do think that there is a number that's important to this process, but it's not about how much wealth that you've accumulated. It's about how much income that your resources can deliver for you in retirement. So that takes into account things like Social Security, pensions, and then your portfolio. So I do think it's about a number, but it's about an income number, not an asset number. When we go from those accumulation years where we save, to the distribution years where we now start pulling from those accounts and spending to support our lifestyle.
Chapter 2 in the book, right?
That's right.
That's income.
All right. Yeah, that's where you're going to find the answer to those questions about how do I structure my plan to make sure I don't run out of money. That's chapter 2, very important chapter of the book, but it's also a really important chapter to people's retirement plan.
Gotcha. All right. Here's a question again. I keep hearing about sequence risk. What is it? Why should I be worried about it?
It's a big risk. So you should be worried about it because it can totally derail one's retirement plan if it's not accounted for in the plan.
Okay, well, this says I've been hearing about it, which would give the indication not quite sure what it is and why should I.
Yes, so sequence of returns risk. Advisors love to talk about historical averages and historical performance of the markets. And, I think I'm guilty of doing that from time to time too. But when you get into retirement, it's not about averages anymore. Sequence matters more than average. So let me try to give a quick example of this. And it's a difficult concept to explain. It's something that needs a little bit of time, and we don't have time on the show to do it. So I'll try to do it quickly.
Okay.
But let's just say that I own 2 shares of a fund that's got a value of $50,000, and my intent is that I'm going to withdraw $50,000 in each of the next 2 years.
Okay.
So I've got 2 shares, they're each worth $50,000. I'm going to sell, and then I'm going to sell the second year, and that's where I'm going to get my $50,000 from. But what if the value dropped by 50% before I got to take that first distribution? I still have 2 shares, but now they're each worth $25,000.
Yeah.
So when I sell off and get my $50,000, I don't have any shares left. Now, historically, the markets always recover. And average returns would tell me that the markets are going to perform at a nice level moving forward. But if I've already sold my 2 shares, what does it matter what the market does after that? I don't get to participate in the recovery. So a sequence of returns is talking about, it's not about what it does on an average. It matters what it does in the year by year, and the order of that greatly impacts what the outcome looks like. Sequence of returns is most significant in those 5 years before retirement and 5 years after retirement, where we can't really afford to take a significant step backwards at that time. So that's where you probably hear, oh, we need to start taking some of the risk off the table. That is to deal with sequence of returns risk. Unfortunately, we don't see a lot of people that are addressing that risk head on, and they're taking the risk that if they get a bad sequence, especially early in retirement, it changes the rest of their life and what they're going to be able to do.
Because your desire in retirement is to be built to last. The book is here. You can scan the QR code. You can call the number, because Kevin and Jeff, co-authors of this book, are giving it out for free. And if you want to be educated, if you have a desire to figure out, I've heard about this or I've heard about that, maybe even within the sequence of returns, even within the income plan that I need, and I know I need to create some asset preservation. And somebody is talking about these taxes. It's all in the book. If you want your retirement to be built to last, take advantage of this. This is free. We'll send it out to you to give you an idea and maybe answer some of the questions with the ideas that you've had of how do I do this? Retire well. Call the number 866-630-1675. You can scan the QR code. We'll send the book. But you need to do something for you, which is come into the office, put together a plan now that will take you into the retirement of your dreams. Make the call now. We'll come back, talk a little bit more about what's in the book, and maybe answer some more of your questions when we return.
My favorite clients to work with are people that are really just down to earth and fit well into our family brand. So they're very nice people, they're very hardworking people, they're people that put a lot of value on family and friendships and socialization. There are a lot of firms, I feel like you're a number on a page, but I can tell you at our firm what truly makes us special, and this is a shout out to our founders and the principals of our business, Jeff and Kevin Bucher, is that they have built their business on taking care of people and really building solid family relationships, and that's kind of helped us with the success that we have. We have structured our team at Citizen Advisory Group so that the main thing that's paramount and important to us is taking care of clients. We have a full team of people that's ready to serve and take care of our clients, because that's really what we built our practice on. It's great to be able to go and talk to my team members and have a meeting with 5 or 6 other advisors to say, hey, this is the situation, what are we gonna do about it?
It's here. The book is here. Brad Johansson, along with Kevin Bucher, who is the co-author with Jeff of Built to Last. It's yours for free. Scan the QR code. You can make the phone call. Glad the book is here. Sorry, Kev, you're going to have to print more because people are already going to be asking for this. We're going through some of this, and I'm bringing up some questions that a lot of people have asked about. I want to go into taxes, healthcare, kind of getting this all connected. We don't have a whole lot of time, but we've got more shows. We're grateful that you spend time here. This would be a standard question that I would get, so I'll pass that to you. And I'm turning 65 very soon, so I'm getting bombarded with Medicare information. If any of you are in that spot, you know the mailbox is full. I'm still working. I have insurance through my employer. My question is, do I have to sign up for Medicare as soon as I turn 65?
It's a great question, and one that I would say we do get on a very regular basis. And there's a lot of misconception about that, because you receive, to your point, you get marketed to like no other age of your life when it comes to Medicare, right? So you're going to get tons of marketing materials, and a lot of what you're going to get is going to indicate that if you don't sign up for Medicare in this initial window, that you will be subject to a penalty and a lifetime penalty. Well, in the real world, if you have credible coverage provided through your employer, you do not have to take Medicare when you're first eligible at 65. But there's a lot of confusion about around these enrollment windows. That's what Chapter 4 of the book is going to address.
Okay.
But it is important that you get these windows correct. So number one, you got to make sure you get your coverage at a time when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't want to be subject to these penalties, because I think I mentioned it's a penalty, but it's not a one-time penalty that you pay then you're just done with. It's a lifetime penalty that follows you. So you got to make sure you enroll in the right window. There's also some other nuances, in particular how HSAs, like if you're contributing to a health savings account, they don't play real nice with Medicare. So for individuals, for example, that don't enroll in Medicare when they first turn 65 because they're still working and covered by that employer, they will be given a special election period to get into Medicare later, and they won't be subject to that penalty. But unfortunately, Medicare backdates your Part A application by 6 months automatically. You don't pick that. And you're not eligible to contribute to a health savings account when you're on either part of Medicare, Part A or Part B. So a lot of people get caught in that trap where they put money into their health savings account, or they were counting on the employer contributions into that health savings account, and they have to back that all out because they're not eligible to do so once that Medicare kicks in.
Complicated. Again, wouldn't you want an expert on this? All right.
Yeah, and I think that actually opens up a good window. There's 5 pillars to this, and there's a lot in each of those pillars.
Yes.
And I don't want to sit here today and act like I am the expert across all 5 of these pillars. So it gives me an opportunity to maybe talk about the strength of our team. We're all pretty well versed across the 5 pillars, but there's so much specialization that happens in each individual pillar. That's why I can't do it alone. And that's why we have assembled a team of advisors and support staff that work together to deliver that high level expertise across all 5, because it'd be very difficult for one person to do that.
No question. All right. I was going to ask if I have time for one more question. I know I'm going to ask one more question. I have most of my retirement savings in a 401k, which is logical. Most people do. My tax guy says I'm in the 12% bracket right now. Am I good? Is there something I should be doing with this?
Yeah, pretty flippant advice is what I would call that, right?
I'm good.
Yes. I think there's a lot more that has to go into it, where we want to look at where you're at today, but we also need to do some projections about where you're going to be in the future. So that's where we have to do a retirement income plan. We have to do some modeling to see what your future income looks like. What are going to be the sources of that income? Social Security, maybe a pension, 401k, IRA. How does that all come together? And what does your current tax situation look like compared to your future? And then that really sets the stage of, okay, is there something we should be doing now to improve our long-term tax liability so that we get to keep more of what we've worked a lifetime to accumulate? So I think that's pretty flippant advice. I would compare that to when someone says, well, when should I take my Social Security? And the answer is, well, you should just take it at 62 so you can get what you can get.
Right.
A lot more that goes into it than that.
There's a lot that goes into this. Satisfaction that this is finally out?
Satisfaction on a lot of levels. Number one, that it's done. So
thank goodness.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And you know, just I think it can help some people again understand some things. You know, it talks in the book about how all of these pillars are connected together. So they're all individually important, and there's a lot about each of them individually, but one area is not isolated from the other. So sometimes when we make a decision in this area, it has an effect in 2 or 3 other areas. So the book tries to make those connections, and that's what we're trying to do for our retirees, is build connected retirement plans.
Guess what? Things are going to change. You're going to have to do new iterations of this along the way as well. Yeah, but it's built to last. And staying with the changes is exactly what this does. So if you want to scan the QR code, you'd like a free copy of this book, please do so. If you'd like to call and make an appointment so that we can make sure that your retirement plan is built to last, 866-630-1675. You didn't just arrive at this program for no reason. There's a purpose that you're here. The purpose is to do something for yourself, to make your retirement the one you've always wanted to. Complimentary book, complimentary plan to put together to say, you can do this, make it built to last, so you can retire well. Grateful for your time here. Use it wisely. See you in the office, right? And right back here next time on Retire Well.